Yeah, see here, now we are seeing the practical session of how to use default keyword, and after table creation how can I add constraints and how can I delete constraints. Okay, now see, let me check who is the user working with the system. Dinesh, and right now Dinesh is working with the database, and let me check what are the tables. Select start from tab. It is displaying the list of table names. Okay, now how can I create a table? Simple table without constraints. We know that, say create table customers, and customer number, let us say it's a number of 3, and customer name, it's varchar 2 of 20, comma customer city, so this is also like varchar 2 of 20, but I am defining city column with default class, default space single quotes, use Texas, comma, and gender is just char, and here close the bracket, enter. Table was created. Now let me insert at least 3 or 4 records. Insert into customers. See here, I want to insert roll number, customer name and gender. I don't want to insert any city value. Yeah, CNO, CNAME and gender. I am not entering any value into city. Values, customer number 1, customer name Dinesh, and customer gender is male. Finish. So here a row was created. Then what is the value of city? City value is automatically considered as Texas. Let me check the data. Select start from customers. See here, what is the city value of Dinesh? Texas. So we did not submitted any value, any city value for first record. So let me consider the second record also. Here the second record number 102. So let us say Madhu, and he is also gender, enter. Now let me execute getting data from table. See, for these 2 persons automatically city value is Texas. In case if you are inserting a value into city, let me insert a different value into city. Values, use 101 and Swati, comma city value Chicago and female. So here you are submitting different city value. Default value Texas, but I am submitting city value also. If you submit city value also, then city column is populated with the new value. So now city column is populated with Chicago for this record. And let me insert a null value into this. So here let me change 110 and let us say Sujata, and here I am not entering any city value. So use null, then insert one row created. Let me commit it, delete the screen and select your data. Select start from customers. See here. For the last record, city value is null. Why? Because you have inserted null keyword, null value. And last but one is populated with Chicago, since you have submitted a different value. If you did not submit any value into default column, then the default value is populated into the column city. Remember this. This is very much useful while designing database applications. Now, let me discuss about how to define constraints on the table after table creation. How to define constraints on the table after table creation. Let us see. Let me check the tables from the database. Select start from tab. So from the schema we have these tables. Let me drop the tables, some of the tables. I want to drop student, stud, studinfo, all these things. Drop table student. And let me purge table student. What is purge here? So if you are deleting a table, generally the table will be placed under recycle bin. It will not be deleted permanently. Here, so purge operation is not allowed because the table is permanently deleting if you apply drop table command. Okay, then drop table stud and also drop table stud info and drop table emp1 and also drop table dept1. Finish. Now select your data from your schema, select start from tab. Here these are the details. Now let me create a table stud. Create table stud. Okay, roll number, so number of 2, not giving any constraints. Student name, it's a varchar2 of 20. Student course, it's also varchar2 of 10. The default value I am submitting here, default course name is Oracle, comma, and fee, it's a number of 5. And I am considering the default fee. So default space single quotes use 14,000. Next, mobile, it's a number of 10. Table created with 2 default columns. Okay, into course column the default value is Oracle. Into fee column the default value is 14,000. Now I want to define primary key constraint on roll number column. So how can I add? There is no value within the table. Generally if the table is empty, you can add any constraint on any column and you can delete any constraint from any column. But if the table is not empty, if the table is populated with data, then we should ensure that the column data should be validated according to our adding constraint. The column data should be validated according to our constraint. Otherwise, suppose if the column data is not valid according to my primary key, some values are there, null values are there, duplicates are there, then primary key you are unable to add on that column. In such a case, we are unable to apply constraints. Remember. Now let me add a constraint, primary key constraint on roll number, alter table, table name stud. Here add constraint. What is the constraint you are adding? Primary key. On which column? Roll number. Under which table? Student. What is the default predefined constraint? Name. Primary key. On which column? Roll number. Table altered. And after this, I want to add check constraint on the same column. See, alter table student. Add constraint. What you are adding here? Check constraint on roll number. Student. Here, remove this. Check roll number. Open the bracket, roll number between 1 and 60. That's all. Then check constraint is also added on the column roll number. Yes, successfully added. Now, so adding check constraint, adding primary key. I want to add unique constraint on mobile number column. Add unique constraint. So alter table student, add constraint UK underscore mobile underscore stud. What is the predefined constraint name for unique? The keyword unique. On which column? Mobile. Enter. I want to add not null constraint on student name or course. Okay, let us see. So alter table stud, add constraint. So here you are adding not null constraint on which column? Student name under stud table. So not null you are defining on which column? Yes, name, student name. So invalid identifier. So you cannot add not null constraint like this. Okay, yeah. And now how to add a foreign key constraint on a column? How to add a foreign key constraint on a column? Yeah, before that let me get what are the constraints from the table. Select constraint name, comma, constraint type from user underscore constraints, where table name is equal to stud. See, we have added primary key constraint on roll number, check constraint on roll number, and also unique constraint on mobile column. Now I want to define foreign key constraint. So to define a foreign key constraint, first let me create a parent table. Yeah, parent table is company details. Create table company details. Here company code, CMP code, it's a character of 5. So here I am defining a constraint primary key, CMP code, and what is the table name? Company table. What is the constraint name? Primary key. And company name, CMP name, and here it's varchar 2 of 20. Just add a not null constraint. Not null on CMP name under the table company. What is the constraint? Not null. That's all. I'm not going to define. Okay, company country or otherwise country. It's varchar 2 of 20. That's all. I'm not defining any constraint on country. Okay, now let me create a child table. Yeah, create table product details. Here product ID PID. So it's a character of 5 and it is a primary key. Simply I am specifying primary key and comma and enter. Product name, it's varchar 2 of 10 and product cost, it's a number of 5, and finally warranty, it's a varchar 2 of 10 comma company code, CMP code. So this is whenever you are creating child table, if you want to make a column as a foreign key column, or if you want to define a foreign key constraint on any column, you should ensure that whatever primary key from the parent table, whatever the data type and size is there on primary key column, same data type and size you need to maintain under this child table and also for foreign key column. So CMP code character of 5. Okay. So let me define a foreign key constraint. Oh, unfortunately I have used comma. Just a moment. Let me retype all these things. Yeah. Okay. There is no comma. Close it. Now I want to add a foreign key constraint. So alter table, the table name, product details. So in product details table, on the column company code, I want to add foreign key constraint. Okay, add constraint FK underscore. I am adding foreign key column on company code under the table product. Okay, foreign key. Okay, foreign key you are applying on CMP and it has to refer the values from primary key column of company details. So company details, from that company code, CMP code, yeah, CMP code, and also you can define, yeah. So invalid alter table option. So maybe there is a spelling mistake. Let me check. Yeah, see here how to add a foreign key constraint. Here there is a spelling mistake in the previous one. So that's why it is saying invalid alter table option. Alter table product details and you are adding constraint. What type of constraint you are adding? Foreign key constraint. For that foreign key constraint you are maintaining user friendly name and foreign key. Okay, and on which column you are applying foreign key constraint? CMP code column. And into this column, from which table the foreign key column accept the data? Parent table primary key. So references, what is the parent table name? Company details. And what is the primary key column in company details? CMP code. Right. So now you can check the constraints information from product details. See here, select constraint type or constraint name, comma, constraint type from user underscore constraints, where table name is equal to, what is the table name? Product details. Hit enter. So one constraint primary key directly I had defined at the time of creating the product details table, and one constraint foreign key constraint. Foreign key constraint type character is always R, primary key P, C for check constraint or not null constraint, and U for unique constraint. Okay, this user friendly constraint, foreign key constraint, just now we have added in this screen. You are seeing how to add foreign key constraint after table creation. Then how can I drop a constraint? Let me drop foreign key constraint first. Alter table table name product details, drop constraint is the keyword. What is the constraint name? FK underscore CMP code underscore prod. Okay, this is the constraint name. Alter table with drop constraint keyword. Table altered. Now check your constraints from the table. Only one constraint it is displaying, means foreign key constraint was deleted. Now, can I delete the constraint by using this predefined name? Yes, you can alter table product details, drop constraint, the constraint name sys_c004199. Yes, you can also. It was deleted. Now check the constraints information from the table. So select constraint name, constraint type from user_constraints, where table name is equal to product details. No rows are there. Means you have successfully deleted the constraints and successfully added the constraints. So let me stop this one. In this video, you have learned about how to use default class in creation of table, and also how to add a constraint after table creation and how to delete a constraint after table creation. That's all. Thank you very much.